Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, people of all ages, welcome back to the Sticky Floors podcast. I am one of your hosts, CJ. I am joined by Mr. Will, and tonight we are talking about the movie Black Bag. This is your first time listening to us. Sometimes we might cover movies in the past. Sometimes we cover movies in the present. This time we covering a film that just came out this Friday. So this is the special breakdown courtesy of Sticky Floors. Spoilers will be discussed. So if you haven't seen Black Bag yet and you want to see it, but you don't want to be spoiled, you might want to just press pause here, go watch it and come back. Or if you want to have the inside advantage and scoop, you can listen to this now and then go watch it and then be like, they were right. Or you can choose to listen to this now and then watch it and come back and say they weren't as right as they thought they were. But one of those three things is going to happen. Whatever the case is, we're glad that you're joining with us tonight. And please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next show, because these come out every week and we're doing this thing. So that's what I got to say about that. My main man, Mr. Will, what's up with you tonight, man?
Hey, nothing, man. Chilling. What's going on with you?
Man, I am doing good, man. I ran out to see this, man. This was a strong recommendation from you.
Yeah.
We're going to break it down. They got some of my favorite actors in here doing their acting thing. Everybody's in their bag, their black bag. So it was good watching. In the beginning, I was like, is this a black movie? What's this about? Because I didn't really watch all the highlights and all the previews. Now it's like, okay, cool. I see what it is now.
Yeah.
I was like, at first I thought it was a Black History Month joint, but then I was like, oh no, this is whatever month we're in now. It's that for that month. So that's what that is.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Man. But this is good, man. We're gonna have a good time talking about this, man. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Here's what the synopsis we can jump in here, man.
Yes, sir. Directed by Steven Soderbergh, Black Bag is a slick, cerebral espionage psychological thriller that dives deep into the treacherous world of intelligence, trust, and betrayal. At the heart of the film is Catherine St. Jean, played by Cate Blanchett, a highly respected intelligence agent who's suddenly under suspicion for treason. Tensions rises as her husband, George Woodhouse, played by Michael Fassbender, also a legendary operative in his own right, faces an agonizing choice: protect his marriage or his country. With only 7 days before a catastrophic security leak could unleash havoc on a global scale, George must find the source of the betrayal before tens of thousands of lives are lost.
There it is, man. And like we said, this is right in theaters right now.
Mm-hmm.
We went and saw this week, man. We did the legwork for you. So, you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all, you don't know if you want to go see it. Some of you trying to bootleg it. You don't have to do that. You listen to us and we'll let you know what's going on with it. From the very beginning, man, Steven Soderbergh, man. So I don't think we've covered one of his films before. I was looking through his discography, or I guess his filmography. There's a couple on here I love, the Ocean's 11 films.
Yep.
Especially 1 and 2, 13, not so much. Solaris, I definitely saw that. I don't know if that will make the cut. I also saw The Girlfriend Experience, which was interesting.
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, The Girlfriend Experience. I checked that out. That might be for Sticky Floors After Dark. Maybe we'll break that one down one time. But and The Laundromat. I checked out The Laundromat too. But yeah, this is our first time really getting into this, man. So
yeah, I didn't even catch none of the Magic Mike stuff.
No, I didn't. No, I don't think that's for our demographic.
Yeah,
man.
I was gonna say, but we do try to be very diverse. We've covered stuff here from rom-coms to some horror flicks. So I think we're pretty diverse as far as our movie visuals and viewership.
Yeah, we have a sophisticated palette, no doubt about it. So when you saw the previews for this, I know like you brought this to me. You was like, hey, let's do this. What was it about the previews that was like, let's do this?
Yeah, man. First of all, I like Michael Fassbender, and probably because of the whole Magneto thing.
No doubt.
First it was him, and then he was also in another movie too. I got to give a shout out to. I can't think of the name right now, but it's similar to The American, starring George Clooney, where he's a spy and he's in Puerto Rico, and they come in. So anything with him, I'm like, oh, I got to peep that. And then are you
talking about The Killer?
Yeah. Killer.
Killer is man. The Killer is really that's what we're gonna do one day.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I definitely like Cate Blanchett too.
Hmm.
You know, from the Hobbit series, the Lord of the Rings rather. And plus she's done a lot of other films that I was like I'm very intrigued with. Like she was in Ocean's. What is that? With the all ensemble female cast.
Yeah, it
Um,
was. I think they called it Ocean's 11, didn't they? But it was
yeah,
like a remake
yeah,
of.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Or maybe even 12 or 10 or something. Either way, the point is, she's been in a lot of stuff that I liked, and so just those two headlining was the first part. Then I happened to see trailers, and it seemed like some dark, intriguing espionage, spy, spy versus spy type of thing. And then I saw that they were at the dinner table, and it seemed like a lot of rabble rousel and
Hmm.
sarcasm and wit, and I was like, oh, this is like Knives Out. So I was like, oh,
Yes.
so I was
Got.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And then once I heard that it was about spies and everything, like even more so, I was like, oh yeah, we should definitely see this with the cast being what it is. I was like, yeah, I've seen a lot of these characters before in other movies, and I've seen these actors do their thing in a lot of respective movies.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, man. And like Kate Blanchett, I think when we did the show about our 2024 recap, you asked me
Yeah.
like, what did I see on streaming that I liked?
Hmm.
She was in Disclaimer, which is on Apple
Oh,
Television. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, very, very capable actress. And she does her thing too in this one.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really prescient that you saw the connection with Knives Out,
Hmm.
because going into this, I was expecting, I guess maybe a little bit more of an action kind of oriented film,
At
and
first, I
and
can see that.
then I realized there was more like a mystery sort of component to it. So
Hmm.
it really kind of leaned into that, what's going on, who's who, who's what, who's like trying to get by on the other person kind of thing. So it was really like a mystery in a way that I wasn't expecting it to be.
Yeah, and the thing too that really got me was some of the lesser known actors, if you will, like for example Tom Burke. He's in this
Hmm.
TV show called The Lazarus Project that comes on I think like TNT, and it's
Okay.
basically like another spy thing except they can go back in time and how they
Oh, okay.
interact. So like just seeing his character and him play two different versions of the same character, I was
Hmm.
like, oh man, he's a good actor. I like the way that he portrays certain subtleties with like facial
Hmm.
ticks and hand gestures and movements. I was like, yeah, I want to see what he does on the big screen.
Yeah, and he has he plays like a really interesting character. He plays the character Freddie Smalls,
Yeah, yeah,
no relation to Biggie, and
yeah.
he's like, I think whenever you get a chance to play a character that's a little flawed, it
Yeah.
just gives you so much room. So
Oh
like
yeah.
his character's got he's almost like the James Bond without the action, like in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like the suave
Yeah.
womanizer kind of
Yeah.
vibe and thing. He's got that down 100%, and it looks like Burke has a fun time playing the role.
Oh yeah, and he was also in Mad Max Furiosa, so that's
Okay.
really what like really drew me in. Like, oh, okay, this is a second joint. Let's see what he does with this.
Yep.
Let's see how he does on a larger scale, if you will, like a more prominent role.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And then also they added a couple other folks in here too. First, like I just gotta say this. I'm gonna mention it later, but yo, I would love seeing Pierce Brosnan and stuff,
Yo,
man.
that's my dude. Ever since he
Yo,
played Remington Steele, man,
right,
that's
right.
my dude.
Remington Steele, James Bond. I was
Yeah,
watching this and I was thinking, man, is there a way that he can't be James Bond, but it would be good if he could be in a James Bond film
if he could be
as like
Q, I would like
s-
that. Or
something, just something. Because like even in this, I felt like at some points they were like, all right, it's Pierce Brosnan. Let's put him in a nice suit.
yeah,
Like he got to be smooth.
yeah,
He's got like that. Certain actors when they get as they age, they just get more smooth. Like
yeah,
he does it, and like Michael Douglas. Michael
yeah.
Douglas is another person. Like they just get older. It's like all their stuff becomes more refined.
I
Pierce
like
Brosnan, he's not in this a lot, but he's like cooking, like just with he's got the gravitas of like the old kind of grizzled spy guy, running
agreed.
the shop.
Agreed, man. I think the other thing too that I like about him is that he when he played the thief, what was it with
The Thomas Crown
yeah,
Affair.
fair. Yeah, and
Real, oh, that's such a
you
fun movie to watch.
yeah, and that's why I really take to his personality and the
Such
way
a
that he
fun
carries
movie.
himself. Like he just appears to be very regal. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
very
yes,
like debonair. I
yes,
just like I like seeing him in certain roles, and this is one of
yes.
those roles where I'm like, ah, okay, this is right in his strike zone, man.
Yeah, he's like right on the line of where confidence meets
Yeah,
arrogance without being over the line. His
yeah.
whole life, he's just been there. So Shout outs to him, man. He does his
Oh,
thing.
that's a brilliant assessment, man. I really like that, yo.
Thank you, man. He does his thing, man. And so the film focuses, as you said, around this idea of trying to figure out for the character George, played by Michael Fassbender, what is his wife involved in some sort of espionage, right?
Yeah.
And then not only his wife, but then also these other people that you find out are close friends of his.
Yeah, and that's the thing too that really trips me out is that come to find out all these people, they're not just friends, they're work colleagues. And so like
Yes.
that balance, and I don't mean like, oh, they work for the company. No, they work intimately with each other to the point where Naomi Watson's character, she's the psychologist who's like giving. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
First of all, the mental gymnastics that she has to perform between separating her work life between
to
her
the extent that
life.
She does, because she, I feel like she violated every HIPAA, every law that possibly is around psychology, man. Because like you said, Naomie Harris, who plays Dr. Zoe Vaughn.
Yeah,
you find out she's involved with everybody. Like
she's sleeping with dudes left and right. She's
in the biz, man.
Criticizing the what you call it, Catherine. I mean, like just the stuff that she knows. I don't know why anybody would be friends with her or go out of their way. Like the comfortability.
Yeah.
I mean,
HR needs to get rid of her, man.
Oh yeah.
She's violating all the rules of an organization.
Confidentiality is out
she's violating all of those things.
Yeah, that's out the wood. I mean, like, how are you having a sexual relationship with one of the people you're supposed to actually subscribe some type of help to or counsel or
right? Which is that's like ethics 101. Like that's in the beginning. That's in the like the table of contents of things you're not supposed to do when you're shit. Like we don't have to bother talking about this because we know that you shouldn't be as a therapist serving people and then also being involved with them and more than one at that.
No doubt.
That work at the same job.
The fact that you even try to have a friendship with them is enough to be a little bit cautious and conscientious of like, hey, maybe this isn't a good idea. But to be intimate with them and then be intimate with two of them,
super messy. It's super messy, man. And then like Michael Fassbender. So wait, I gotta say this. Michael Fassbender, man, maybe one of the most versatile actors.
Oh yeah,
that we have like covered in something. Now I do say that. He's got one little tell that I know now from watching his movies. And this is
really?
What it is. So here's what it is. If you watch a movie with Michael Fassbender and he's got his hair combed down, it means that he's not going to be very emotional. Or his emotion is going to be like right bubbling under the surface.
Oh, that's crazy.
But if you see him in a movie and his hair is like spiked or up, he's going to give you all the emotion. So I know what you think. You're thinking, yeah, all right, give me an example. Sure. All right, first of all, Black Bag is one, right? The Killer is another.
Right.
Remember when he played David in Prometheus?
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. Comb over, down, no emotion. Whenever you see that. Now, when the hair is wild, 12 Years a Slave, Magneto, Shame, he's wilding. Whenever you see his hair, it's out wilding.
What about
combed down?
What about The Counselor? How is his hair in that?
Combed down. Until the end when the counselors that's a fun movie to watch too.
Oh yeah,
but that's the thing. Now with that one, it's combed down, but then it goes up over time because he's losing his grip.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, oh wait,
that's what it is. That's his tell. If you see him, if you see a preview and his joint is combed down, he's gonna be chill.
You may have figured this dude out.
Yo, that's how he gets in character.
That's how he gets in character.
That's how he gets into his character, man.
Still.
That's like Magneto. Remember, look at Magneto's hair. Yeah. Magneto hair be all wild and with like, cause you gotta put that helmet on and off. That's how you know. The girl dies, Charles. Like that's how you know. That's how that's him. He's in his thing, man.
Oh, that's crazy.
He's in his thing. So all right, so the spy thing plays out, man. And like the way that it works, George is trying to figure out basically who is the leak, who has leaked this destructive thing called Severus. What is Severus? Like can you explain it to me, man? Because I was trying to figure out. I didn't want to like do the IMDb search for it. So I know like this is your thing, man. Break it down. What is Severus?
So from a physical standpoint, it's just a little round ball, sphere, if you will, and you're able to put it on a keychain. But it's really supposed to be a device that allows them to set off this bomb, which will cause a chemical reaction, obviously. But this chemical is enough to like kill everybody, wipe everybody else. So it's not necessarily a nuclear bomb, where like we covered in Oppenheimer, where the physics of it and the radiation. This is more like a virus type, like chemical, like that spreads out once the bomb is released. And most people don't understand, like, it's not the bomb itself that destroys humanity, whatever have you. It's the chemical reaction and the contents that are released. So the Russians were given this device, and they were on their way to, let it off to destroy a I forget what country it was, but basically one that they were obviously in opposition with. But it wasn't like the United States or anything like that. It was like an ally, like a part of the NATO thing. And then in turn, she was going to Sweden, and then
Catherine.
Because she was thinking that she was making a payoff in order to get it
back.
And that's not what was going on. The Russians had it, and they were going about doing their whole thing. And then at the same time, she was meeting with the Americans, the CIA, and they were going to let off the drone strike to eliminate
kill the Russians who thought they had it. Yeah. Right. Okay. The keychain part. Thank you. That was clear. Yeah. Because now the keychain part makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that the
Reggie had. What's his name? The actor's name is Rege-Jean. He was in that Netflix joint.
James Stokes.
Colonel
James Stokes. Okay. Now that makes sense. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to get back this this trigger for this chemical agent, which is released when a bomb is dropped. Got it. Okay. And George figures out that somebody on the inside leaked it. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to catch who it is, and he's afraid that it might be his wife.
And that's the thing, when they leave a lot of subtle clues, but George is so sophisticated in him being an expert interrogation specialist, whatever have you, that the clues that are left in the bathroom, like the ticket to the movie, he's like, I trust my wife. This is so cliche that this is beneath her. And when he asks her, the audience thinks like she's lying, but his psyche is more like, look, we've been through a whole bunch of things together. I've been able to let my hair down. She's been able to tell me a lot of intimate secrets, this, that, and the third. We work with each other. Like, this goes far past that. And even his wife says to him, like, yo, look, I would kill for you. I would do anything for you. Obviously, it's later than what he depicts. But the point is that it's a known situation where, like, hey, we have each other's back.
Yeah. I love the scene when he takes her to the movie theater, to the movie that he saw on the ticket. And he's staring at her the whole time to see if she reacts when everybody else is reacting to the jump scares and everything. It's just like, whenever it made me laugh, because I'm thinking, whenever you're in a relationship where you're trying to catch the person that you're with, man, that relationship is finished. 9 times out of 10, they survive that here, but 9 times out of 10, you're finished once you start doing that.
Yeah, it's a wrap. I think that's the thing too, where how do you separate, your work life and your private life when you're working with someone? Like, you can't say, hey, how was your day? I know how your day was. We can't get in an argument at work because you don't want that to spill over. Well, you left the toilet seat up, something mundane. Or when you're coming home, like, you really showed me up in front of the boss. Like, those lines you don't really want to cross. But I think the way that the two of them carry themselves with an openness and an honesty, that it supersedes all of the trivial and the mundane things that may transpire in those type of situations.
Yeah, and they also carry their relationship in a very public fashion.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone at work knows that they are married. Yeah. And they treat them as such. And even like the guy describes it as that George has a flagrant, I think he uses the term flagrant monogamy. That's his thing. But like, I like that. Like, one of the reasons why I think their relationship works is because they're so public with it.
Oh, yeah.
They may hide things from everyone else, but they don't hide things from each other. And that's like one of the things that really saves them in the end of this whole thing.
Yeah, they definitely know each other inside and out, both intimately, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like, there's even physically, like him looking for the tells and him being able to understand when someone, like the scene where he points out, hey, you're clenching your sphincter, right? You read such and such to try try and circumvent the process of interrogation. And she's like, oh, like, you can't get over on me. I know the deal. I know the ins and outs. I do this. I am
Yeah.
this.
I'm glad you brought that character up. Marisa Abela,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
hope I'm saying the last name right, who plays Clarissa Dubose.
Mm-hmm.
She's good in this movie, man.
Yeah,
She's
man.
very fun. Like there's so many talented actors and actresses in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Every time their focus on her was right on point.
Yes.
She's funny in it. Like you said in that scene where she's getting the lie detector test and
Mm-hmm.
she kind of is like, kind of explain how she's gonna beat the lie
Yeah.
detector. She's good, man. I liked her, and she also is the person that kind of helps the audience to see the lengths that George is willing to go
Yeah.
to see what his wife is into. Like when they access the satellite, which really kind of pushes the whole story to another level.
I think the like there's two scenes that she really shines. One, the first dinner scene, and it
Oh, love it.
culminates in her stabbing, what you call it,
Freddie,
in
Freddie through the
Freddy's
hand.
head,
Yes, love it, love
and
it.
the point of that is like you would think she's a psychopath, like the way she
Hmm.
just pulls that off, like she's
Yeah,
like, okay, what's for dinner? Like
yeah,
she
yeah.
just like seamlessly moves through it and starts throwing back drinks like it was nothing. Then the second scene is when like she's really confident that she's done her thing, and she's like, "You guys are crazy." After Catherine shoots the colonel in his head, like it's like, no, little girl, you're still in the minors. This is the big boy league. Like
Right.
you haven't gotten to that point. You thought you were bad? Nah, we're gonna show you what bad is.
Right. Yeah, she's good because she's all, and like you said, she's kind of the most naive of
Mm-hmm.
all the people, right? So
Yeah.
she thinks like she's smart and she's a smart character, but you can see that everybody else is experienced.
Yes.
And in that way, they're really kind of working around her
Mm-hmm.
in a way that she doesn't really suspect. And at the end, you see all the games that are happening around her that she's innocent of, which in the end kind of helps her out.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I think you hit the nail on the head with the point that they're experienced because they're intelligent, but they're
Hmm.
experienced, and she's still an analyst, and
Yeah.
they've got decades in the game where they're like, look,
Yeah.
this is how you really play this out.
Hmm.
This is what really you can expect to from these next moves. We're playing checkers, you're still playing chess. I mean, excuse
Yeah.
me, vice versa. We're playing chess, you're playing checkers.
Yeah.
And
Very. Yeah. Oh, God.
and I think the fact that they have her deliberately at a younger age and her highlighting the fact that she
Mm.
likes to interact with older men
Oh yeah.
really,
Perfect.
really is symbolic of the overall theme of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it also, the idea of her being a little bit younger, them being a little bit more grizzled. She also has like this kind of I would say healthy naivete in the
Hmm.
film, like not really understanding the lengths that everyone else is willing to go to, and almost like she's trying to prove herself
Oh yeah.
the whole time. So like, I like that part too. This is a smart film.
Yes.
Very smart film. Like we said, Soderbergh did the Ocean's 11 films. One of the things I've always loved about them was the dialogue. The dialogue
Hmm.
is cracking here. The back and forth, everything, like just it's an entertaining watch. Even if it's not like really like so action packed, but it's really
Yeah.
like the dialogue. If you're a person that digs dialogue, this is a good film to check out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more action because it is a spy movie, so I would have liked to see more gunplay, if you will.
Hmm.
But at the same token, when it does have those moments, I'm glad that it's done by Catherine, by Cate Blanchett's character,
Hmm.
other than certain other characters.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. When I was watching it, I was like when I'm in the film, when I'm in the movies, I'll try to like take notes while I'm in there, right? And one of my notes I remember typing was, "This is like a movie about Q Branch."
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
how
yeah,
Q Branch is like all of the in the James Bond world. It's like all the people who come up with the inventions and everything,
yeah,
but not necessarily the operatives in the field. It felt like this is kind of like the inner workings of Q Branch because it
yeah.
wasn't like all the action, but it was like the espionage part was there. And in many ways, this is probably more like what espionage actually is, not like the James Bond stuff that we've been accustomed to.
Yeah. And the thing too is like all of this MacGuffin device of Severus and them trying to go
Yeah.
after that, it helps to
Hmm.
drive the narrative, but it's not solely about that. It's about the inner working. So
That's
even
what it
though,
really is about.
like,
Yep.
yeah, like so, like just to piggyback off of what Severus is, Severus is because everything is like digitized and no longer analog. Everything is more like AI driven. This is it starts off as like a program, a worm, if you will. but
Mhm.
and it has the ability to corrupt anything in its path. But the key moment is like the release of these toxins or chemicals or whatever have you, because like it does talk about like, hey, it can eat the code or whatever have you to a nuclear reactor in the beginning
Yes, the
scene.
core. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
nuclear reactor. Yeah, I remember saying
but
that.
the key thing is like the highlight point is like they want to kill off millions of people with this ability to do that, and the way to do it fast is with the chemical agent. And I think that is also another thing that permeates the movie, where someone, a mole, has dug in and borne
Permeated.
roots,
So
and
yeah,
then
I think
all of a
yeah.
sudden it's permeated everything throughout the entire company, and no one knows for certain, only to find out that some of the people did have a hand in it, but it was more like inadvertently. So
Yes.
you have Pierce Brosnan's character interacting with the Colonel, and they've kind of like plotted out like they want to do something, but at the same time, Zoe has like her own moral compass that she needs to adhere to,
Yes.
so she's
Hmm.
willing to, you know, get rid of these people in order to save thousands. And then at
Yeah.
the same time, even though she's naive, Marisa's character still has that ability to say, "Hey, look, I may be young, but I'm not dumb." And
Yeah.
I may be energetic, and I may be naive to how this thing is played, but at the same time, I too have morals, and I have a standard that I'm going to adhere to too.
Yeah. And then in the end, you find out that it is James Stokes
Yeah,
is the actual mole, right? And so I was first. I like mystery movies, like you
hmm
said, like the Knives Out, Glass Onion. I like those films,
yeah,
right? And I like all the way back. It reminds me of like Clue, like trying to figure out like who killed
yeah,
such and
yeah.
such with the
That gave
with the
off Clue vibes
with
too.
the
Yeah.
candlestick, yeah, in the library, like that type of thing. So did you know that it was James?
No, I had no idea. In fact, I was surprised that it was him. I know
Okay,
that there's the scene where they're out in the pond and they're fishing, whatever have you, and George brings the gun, but George is willing to go to any lengths to eliminate anyone at that point. So for
yeah,
me, I was just thinking like, hey, through process of elimination, he was just going to get rid of whomever it was, and if they were working in tandem, which I thought he originally believed, that's what he was going to do.
got
But
it.
once it was confirmed that it was him, I was like, wow. I would have guessed, honestly, I would have guessed that it was Zoe, the way that they were headed, like when they were doing the reveal and
Mm,
everything, because she's the one who
mm,
knows everyone, their secrets, the things
yeah.
that keep them up at night, especially during the back and forth with Cate Blanchett's character, with Catherine, when they're in the 45-minute, so she could be cleared to go
Oh, the
back to
therapy
certain the
session. Yeah,
therapy
yeah, yeah,
session,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and she's telling her like, oh, so you're doing all these things, which is just enough the limit that'll allow me to grant you access. Like, so
Yes.
the back and forth, it was almost
Yeah.
like, oh,
Great
I got
dialogue
you. I
scene.
know who
Yeah.
you are. You're the one who's giving out the secrets.
Yeah. Great dialogue scene. I didn't think it was James either. I thought that it was still Catherine actually.
Get out of
I
here.
I did because what I thought the movie was almost gonna make you think it's not, and then you realize because like you start off thinking it is, then it was going to be not, then it was going to be oh it really is.
Okay.
Because I thought George would be in a real moral dilemma at the end.
Oh.
And the only thing that kind of made me think James a little bit was when he was the one who told George that Catherine was using the alias.
hmm
That was the only thing that kind of made me think that way. But it was interesting to see it. It also makes me wonder if I went back and watched this again one day, if there were more telltale signs that I was missing, like maybe throughout the thing.
Oh, I know I'm definitely going to have to watch this again,
Okay.
because I know I missed certain things in the theater, like trying to pick up, trying to make notes,
Yeah, of
and
course. Of
trying to
course.
jot things down. So that's one standpoint. Two, I think I'm going to watch it again just because I like the interaction between the characters and the
Got
dialogue.
it.
Um, and then last but not least, I think I'm going to watch it again because of the genre, and I want to compare it to what happened, what other movies come out in between now and then. I mean,
Mm,
now and into the future. Like,
yeah.
I really believe that this is going to be the first of a series of movies like this, where the dialogue is going to be the main character or one of the
Mm,
main characters, where the intrigue, if you will, and those acting in a very cunning manner is going to be sub characters or subplot.
yeah, that's good. I mean, if that's the case, I'll be looking forward to that because I love the dialogue is one of the things I love about this film, and I love like that fast paced
Yeah,
dialogue thing. All this is a great segue into the cake,
yeah,
so
yeah.
this is a good time for us to jump into that. I'll just go first.
Yep.
There's a couple of things that I really liked here that I saw in the film. First is I love the beginning scene. So the long entry scene when you see the back of George's head just walking through that club and all the levels of it. I just like that. When I was watching, I was thinking, dang, that looks like a fun place to hang out. But I just like long shots like that because it feels like you're walking behind him the whole time. And they kept it going long enough for you to really settle in and then start paying attention to everything around him. Because, like, you know, Michael Fassbender, for some reason, looking at the back of his head, you know it's him. But then, like, all the other surroundings, it just sets up this idea of a secret meeting somewhere. You know, like, he's got to go down to level and another level, and then the guy's talking to two people, and then they go outside. I just like that. That was one of the things that I liked in terms of the first scene. We talked a little bit about the dinner scene, the first dinner scene. Great, just fantastic dialogue back and forth. I love like that kind of messy drama, secrets revealed things at dinner. It'd be a disaster in real life, but in movies, I love seeing it. Everybody's business is out there. Finding out that George turned his father in, or revealed his father's infidelity, like that's
30 seconds.
Yeah, right. That was funny, right?
Ugliness. I don't like liars.
Right. Ugliness. But it was good though. It was good though. I love that scene too. The scene where George realizes that he made a mistake by turning off the satellite is just hilarious to me because it reminds me of, I don't know, you probably don't. This probably never happened to you because you're a professional, a super professional. But I've had times where I really made a big mistake at work and it's like, you'd be like, oh my God, what did I just do? When that happens, you know, you start thinking, oh, is there any way I could make this not be as bad as it is? And to watch his face the whole time in the meeting afterward, like he looks like he can't figure out if he's going to go to the bathroom on himself or throw up at the same time. And the way that Michael Fassbender holds that for the whole scene, I just love it, man. And then last thing, I mentioned it before, but yo, to see Pierce Brosnan and Naomie Harris, James Bond and Moneypenny together in a film about spies. The only thing that would have made it better is if they had some kind of interaction that was almost like a meta kind of statement on it. That would have been good, but they were both excellent in this. So yeah, that's my cake.
Yeah, I like all of what you mentioned. That's so dope, man. I really appreciate it. It's then the irony with George having that expression on his face continuously. You would think that the guy who is the master spy smith, like who interrogates spies and is able to decipher who's lying, would have a better poker face. But
man, he looked shook.
He was like, "Yo, are they just going to assassinate me right here? Like, put the firing squad right there?"
Right. Talk about tightening your sphincter. I mean, he looked scared, man.
Yeah, he looked shook, daddy. Yo, I definitely agree with CJ's cake. But I'm also going. I know we covered these topics, but I just want to give a refresher for those who are just tuning in. The cast, good, magnifique. The topic itself. Definitely. A+ on that as well. We've covered a lot of movies about action and drama and comedy, but this right here, we haven't covered too many spy espionage type movies. And this is really something that I like, the whole detective figuring out who did what thing. And make the questions that it makes you ask yourself as far as like who watches the Watchmen, who polices the police, you know,
who watches the Watchmen. That's
the integrity of a country and the things that they'll do in order to keep their career going and to get more prestige and be more renowned. Like these things, like they're selfish too. Oh, they're ego driven too. It's not about, you know, being stewards and working for their country because of patriotism or the love of mankind or just being a do-gooder. No. These guys, they want to prove like, hey, I'm the smartest, the baddest, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And then last but not least, I like the British actors and actresses actually talking in their native accent and everything instead of trying to pull an Idris Elba, Desmond Idris Desmond. Oh wait, is it Damson Idris?
Oh, Damson Idris,
where he's, or even an Idris Elba. Where you thinking these dudes are from Baltimore and Cali respectively, and it's like, nah, y'all are from across the pond, or you know, y'all not from over here.
Yeah, but shout outs to Stringer Bell and Franklin Saint, man.
Yeah, definitely. You know? Shout out to those dudes.
In memoriam. Shout outs to them brothers.
Well, to Stringer Bell anyway. I think Franklin.
Oh yeah, Franklin's still alive. That's right. Franklin. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, true. Right, sure.
You my best friend, Leon.
Right. Listen, that if we ever did like sticky floors television,
Yeah.
we would have to do that
Oh,
show. We would have to
definitely.
do like the whole from episode 1 to the end
Yeah.
of Snowfall.
Yeah, we definitely have to cover Snowfall.
That would be a good one. All right. Things I didn't like so much. The hate. So I'm gonna say like the Severus part. Originally that was one of my things, but this conversation, I'm gonna take that off the list because you broke it down. I'm taking that off. Severus makes a lot more sense to me now. It felt kind of obscure, but
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool. I'm gonna go with that. I did want to have a little bit more action.
Mm.
Like in the previews, they show that one scene of that van blowing up, and
Yeah.
you'd be like, "Oh, this is what the whole movie's
Yeah,
gonna be like,"
yeah.
but it's not.
Nah.
That's not it. I think I see a gun like once or twice in the whole film. Like
Yeah,
that,
for you adrenaline junkies, this is not it.
this is not. Yeah, this is not. So watch the killer. Watch the killer
Yeah.
first, and then go watch this, and it'll work for you like that. The last thing I'm gonna say is what deals with James. I felt like he should have seen the trap coming a little bit better.
Oh.
Like after he had to do the lie detector test with
Mhm.
George, I felt like his character should have kind of thought something might be up, even
Mm.
if he still went in. I would have liked for him to at least have his own gun and not like had to pick the gun up off the table, like something that
Oh.
just lets you know, like, nah, I'm not like you're not gonna get me, like like he just felt. I just felt like he should have kind of felt it coming a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah, because I think like I mean, George's reputation as like a master interrogator is so understood that I think if I'm gonna try to influence or manipulate someone like that, that I would be worried when that person then invited me to their house after I just did the lie detector test with them. That
Uh,
was the part. That was the thing that I would have. That like I think I can go with James taking the lie detector test because like you said, public perception. I get
mhm.
that. But when he went back to his house, and I'd been like, maybe I should just at least have a knife on me.
Mm.
At least something. At least something in case it gets like, we gotta do some wet works or something.
But at the same token, they've had dinner before. They were on
Mhm.
the pond. If he wanted to kill him, and he actually had the gun, and I think
Yep.
he knew he had the gun because he didn't typically go out on the pond with him to go
Yeah.
fishing. So I
Yeah.
think he was a little bit more comfortable and at ease. And then once he
Yeah.
saw everyone else there, even if he had a weapon on him, I don't think he would have pulled it. I think he
Yeah.
only did it once they threw the gun on the table. Then it was like,
Yeah.
oh. And I think that's when it started to dawn on him that, uh-oh, the jig is up.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, he should have had that heat though. He should
I
have
dig it.
something.
Better to
He's a
have it and
colonel.
not need it than need it and not have it. I got you.
Yo, that's the rules, man. That's the rules. All right, but that's my hate, man. What you got?
I don't have much, but I'm gonna go with sometimes it's a little too slow and it drags. Like
Yeah,
you mentioned, I would have liked to have a little
definitely,
bit more action, a little bit more
definitely.
gunplay. Um, I don't like the whole like amount of I don't want to say intimidation, but the abuse of power and manipulation. It's constantly on display. You don't know who to believe from the onset. I couldn't believe anyone or anything that
Yeah,
they said.
mm,
So it made it difficult to try and understand bits and parts of the movie. So that's like contributing to why I'm going to have to rewatch it to
yeah,
understand like the motivations and did I miss on any type of like telltale signs as far as like was going to do what or what. That's the reason why I thought that Zoe was the one who was the
yeah,
criminal. Not necessarily because I didn't see the other people as potentially being evildoers, just that she had access to information that others didn't have.
yeah.
And then her role throughout everything, her being very judgmental of others and critical of them, that made me be more like, I'm going to hone in on her because she has this ability to be like that.
Yeah, like that's a good point with this because and it's funny because like when you think about the Ocean's 11's films, they always do this thing where at the end they kind of show you that
Mm-hmm.
Danny Ocean was always kind of three
Yeah,
steps
just
ahead,
had
but you
everybody.
don't really see how.
Yeah.
This movie kind of does that at the end too,
Mm-hmm.
and like because then they show you like, oh well, actually Zoe was involved with Freddie. That
Yep.
was
Yep.
the person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that they kind of do that. It sometimes if you do it right and you have the proper clues, which is why I'd want to watch it again, that can make sense.
Yeah.
But if it's not handled right, it almost makes you feel like the audience like there's no way you could have known.
Yeah.
So this is one where I would have to rewatch it to see if I would still have if I would have
It's so
if there were
content.
those because there's things like in the Ocean's films you would never know that they
No,
had
no,
all those
no,
different things.
no.
And then at the end, you find out, you're like, oh man, these dudes are smart. Well, yeah, but they didn't show you that.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
right.
they didn't show you that in the film. So that's a good point, man. I like that. I like that as a hate, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, man.
All right, so
All
let's
right,
get into these
so
questions, man.
go ahead, man. You fire first,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, definitely. My first question is, what's the true cost of betrayal?
Okay. So, and I guess so what, like, break it down for me
Yeah,
in the film.
so
Yeah.
what I was looking at is like from Catherine's, because she's the main character. So we're
Hmm.
talking about like her actually being guilty. Is it a betrayal of the trust and the bond that she has with her husband? Is that more so than the cost of betrayal between her and her country? Because she's supposed to be a patriot, and you only go
Yeah.
into that type of career if you're truly an ardent supporter of your country, whether it be not necessarily the politics, but just the overall idea and the themes of what your country represents. And you're talking about like that consisting of her loved ones, not just her
Yeah.
husband, but her mom, her dad, her neighbor, et cetera, because you're seeing how the actions of the overall country affect them as people.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I got it. Cool. Cool. When you're now that you put all that context to it, it makes me think of I remember once, I think it might be like a Immanuel Kant or Kant, or like
Mm-hmm.
a philosophical idea
Mm-hmm.
that people never do what they really think is wrong.
Mm,
So people do all kinds of things, but whatever you don't think is wrong is the thing that you don't want to break.
gotcha.
Right. So, like in this case of betrayal, even if Catherine was willing to betray her country, I think in the end, what George realizes is she's not going to betray him.
Mm,
And I think like the cost of betrayal is that you lose the thing that you care the most about.
right.
But for her, the thing that she really cares the most about is really George,
Mm-hmm.
which is why when George rolls over and is like, I think I'm being played, she's like, I think I'm being played too. How we gonna work it out? Right? Like because they know that what neither of them is trying to do is play each other.
Together, yeah.
And I think like it brings me like one of my notes was like, man, it's great to have somebody who's in your corner all the time.
All the time.
Because that's what it is, right? When you really betray the thing or the person that was in your corner, that's the real loss.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the thing that you're losing that you really don't want to lose.
I dig it. That's dope, man. I like that. Now, a piggyback, if you will, to that is now what happens when ambition overcomes ethics. So, an example of this is obviously Freddie, where
Yeah.
him and Colonel James are two people that are interacting in a very professional manner at times, but then they're very unscrupulous, and then they're also
Absolutely.
dealing with the same female. And the worst part about it is Freddie knows that the
Yeah.
colonel that James is actually in a relationship with Zoe,
Yeah.
and the extremes that these two people go in order to accomplish their so-called directives. The film asks basically in a very ambitious manner, how can one's clouded judgment lead to bad decisions?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a good question. The ambition thing, it's kind of like that saying, like pride goeth before the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you have to like have a line. You have to like have a goal and know where to stop.
Yeah.
Usually when you like one of the 48 laws of power is never shoot past the mark you aimed for. Which is like basically if you started like he wanted to be like the colonel, he wanted to be an operative, cool, he got there. He wanted to be in charge, cool, he got there. But once he decided he wanted to try to covertly establish like secret missions that were going to kill thousands of people, that was when he went past the line, right?
Yeah.
And he set himself up, and he didn't realize that he's got arrogance. He's very arrogant because he doesn't even realize that he can't really trust all these people he's sharing this information with. Zoe finds out about his plan because he tells her when he's drunk, which is like one of the worst drunk conversations you get. Right? I mean, like, come on, dog. You told her while you was drunk that you were planning the death of tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's pillow talk gone wrong. You can't do that. You can't. That's against the code. Like you can't be that drunk. You just can't do it. So like, I get it what he was doing, but yeah, he crossed the line, man. So that's why that's why he ended up in the rug. He ended up in the carpet, man.
The rug is crazy.
He's in the carpet, man. When you see the movie, y'all know what I'm talking about.
It's
He ended up
crazy.
in the carpet, man.
My last question for you then is, what does the greater good really mean in the face of personal sacrifice? Now, this film deals with, obviously the two main characters having a very intimate relationship. Forget that they're married. They really rely, like CJ mentioned, they really rely upon one another.
They do.
They're
They
each
trust
other's
each other.
confidant. They're each
Hmm.
other's best friend.
Hmm.
And it would give you more of a glimpse as far as like who they are as people. The thing that really like inspires um, everyone around them to be like, oh, you guys are perfect for each other, is because they really like each other. Forget
Yeah.
love. They really
Yeah.
genuinely like each other. And it made me start thinking about what their commitments are, to whom they're committed to, what is their true journey, what does the truth really entail. So again, what does it mean to basically act in the greater good and face personal hardships or sacrifices?
Yeah, I think that when the people that really make those sacrifices, whatever they decide is the greater good, for them, the sacrifice isn't as great as it looks to someone on the outside.
Mm,
So, like, I'm going to use somebody in the military as an example.
okay.
The person that goes into the military because they believe so much in the idea of defending their country
Hmm.
and defending the people in their country, for them, the idea of putting their life at risk isn't doesn't carry the same weight as it does to somebody who wouldn't do that.
Mm,
So I think like your greater good is very much in alignment with your values so much that you don't even think about it like I'm really risking something that's more important than what it is I'm trying to defend.
I dig it. I dig it. Now it makes sense too, because I was rewatching a movie. Who's the guy? Not Donnie Walsh, but Mark Wahlberg, where he's trying to get this guy from one place to another. I think they're in like Taiwan or something like that. And it also has what's her name? Um,
This is our
who's
favorite journal.
Yeah, this is favorite section.
What movie is
What movie is it? Uh,
it?
who's the famous MMA fighter? She is now a wrestler.
Ronda Rousey?
Ronda Rousey. She ends up
Okay.
getting killed in like the first 30 minutes of the movie. I forget the name of it, but the point is that he asks these people to put their life on the line, and they have to sign basically their citizenship away each time they go on a mission, and they have 6 days to be with their family or do whatever it is they want.
Hmm.
And one by one, members of his team basically get obliterated. I mean, like Swiss cheese. But
Mm-hmm.
to them, it was like, no, this is what we signed up for. So your
Yeah.
point to, hey, them risking their lives, whether it be in the military or the police or whatever have you, that doesn't seem like the ultimate sacrifice to them, because it comes with the territory, and they only, like, as the saying goes, my only regret is that I only have one life to lose for my country. So
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. I mean, like, think about it just with sports. Like, you watch football, look at the amount of injuries that those players suffer.
Mm,
Some people wouldn't do that. A lot of people would just not do that. But for the people that choose that, for them, it's like, all right, it's not that big of a deal because I
yeah,
want the greatness. I want the championship. I want that moment. I want that salary, whatever the case is, they're willing to sacrifice for it. So that's the greater good.
I dig it, man.
So there it is. All right, I got a couple questions for you, man.
Okay.
Yo, question number one. So there's a question at the end about what happened to the 7 million pounds
Mm.
that was originally transferred to James that George and Catherine have access to. So did George and Catherine take the money at the end, or did they give it back to the government?
I think that the director, I think Steven wants you to believe that they pocketed the money, but I don't think they did. And I think the
Okay,
reason why they didn't is because they know that there would be heavy scrutiny to reopen the case, and that they
right.
already thought that these people were unscrupulous. So I don't think they did it.
Okay. All right, cool. This is kind of like a question that I think kind of goes along with the underlying thing in the movie. And there's a great comment that the lady, what was the young lady's name again in the movie? She plays Clarissa Dubose. When she says the thing about who are you supposed to date? Like when you're in this
Oh, yeah,
world,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody is the only people you can date that can understand you are the people who do this job with you, and
Basically.
even those people can always say, oh, this is a black bag, so I can't tell you what happened,
Yeah.
or this is a black bag mission. Where was I last week? It was a black bag. Could you imagine if you could do that in real life and get away with it? No, I can't.
Mm-mm.
But but the
Mm-mm.
question is, can people who have to keep secrets professionally build trust personally?
No, no, no.
You didn't want to think about it a little bit
There's
more.
nothing to think about.
You didn't want to you were ready for that one, man.
Because this goes back to my whole thing where I rewatched Spider-Man, the last one where he asked Doctor Strange, No Way Home, to create and his whole thing was, oh wait, I want everybody to forget. Oh no, my girlfriend has to know. Oh no, my best friend has to know. Oh no, my aunt has to know. And then it even goes even further. I was rewatching another movie in which this whole thing about truth was going down, and it's the one with Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson where they offer.
You're talking about.
I can't think of the name of it, but
Robert Redford. I got it. No, that's our favorite thing, man. I got it. Indecent Proposal.
Indecent, and it's like that's
Indecent
based upon
for 5,000.
And
yep.
So what happened? What did they do? Like these are questions you don't want to ask, man. Like if you're doing this all for money, like no. And then last but not least, participants of OF, like or
OnlyFans. OnlyFans, yeah.
Or who operate as sex workers, those type of individuals where
because you could say sex workers now.
There's no such thing as shame. That's one. Two, your so-called body count doesn't matter. And it's like, no, a lot of these things do actually matter, whether it be you get any type of disease from cancer to HPV, whatever have you, or even far more moral repercussions where it's like, oh, I have a child, but my child will have access to see me on YouTube doing all these crazy things. So, how can you expect truth to be at the heart of these things when you are not truthful? Everything about you is a lie.
So if you got to lie in work,
so if
you're going to lie in real life.
All these people are sitting here like, that's just work. It doesn't carry over to my personal. No, actually, you're a person. That's why I call it personal.
Yeah, I was thinking about in America, like people have different security clearances. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, I'm sure at a certain level of security clearance, there's things that
mm-hmm.
that you can't share with other people. So when you go home, like I'm sure like somebody say, yo, how was your day? You can't be like, yo, I just found out that there's zombies living in the White House. Like you can't say that even because, you're honor bound to keep a certain secret. But what does that do to your relationship? So,
there's a show about that right now on, is it Amazon Prime or, what's the name of the actor? What's the name of the actor who was in Black Panther? T'Chaka's
brother.
About
Paradise. Yeah, yo, I'm winning this game today, man.
Yes, you are.
Like, I'm winning this game, but I can't talk about Paradise because I haven't watched it yet. So just no spoilers on that. Because
it ties in with this. Just remember that.
All right, deal. I got that. All right. Next question for you. All right, we talked about a couple of his movies before. What's your favorite Michael Fassbender role?
I already told you, man. Magneto.
Okay. Yes. Wait, Magneto in which movie though?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because Magneto's a little bit different in all in each one of those X-Men.
I'm gonna have to say in Days of Future Past, because you get to see him. Basically, they'll kill me, Charles, and then he just bounces at the end. So he goes from being a confidant, a friend, to actually being the opposition, to being someone that he empathizes with and shows mercy to. So their dynamic, their relationship shows the complexities of the man that Magnus has become, who he was and who he will be.
Yeah, that movie has one of my favorite scenes in that movie is when they're on the plane.
Yeah,
and Magneto starts crashing out on the plane, and the plane starts falling down. Great scene. Yeah. Great scene. All right, this is a great follow-up to that question then too. Okay, if he wasn't Magneto, what other role would Michael Fassbender play in the MCU?
Now, this was really hard for me, man, because I was going back and forth between two roles.
Okay, let me hear them. You can give two answers.
Oh, yeah? All right.
Yeah, you can give us two.
1A is the Beyonder. I think
Interesting.
I think he would kill that.
Interesting.
Just by the whole, like, for those that may watch Star Trek, picture Q in the Marvel Universe. So he's like an omnipotent being who has power over life, death, time, etc., a godlike being, even though I hate to use that phrase. Yet he has the simplicity of a child, the naivete of a child, the Beyonder, that is. He doesn't understand why these things work. That's the whole reason why in Secret Wars 1 he even comes into the Marvel Universe, is because he wants to understand what makes these people tick, what's the difference between good and evil, what would happen if they both had unlimited supplies and they just went head to head, and they didn't have to, heroes didn't have to worry about collateral damage, and the evil people could just really just go say like, oh, these are our clear-cut motivations, and this is what's going to happen if we win.
Okay.
And then
so that's one.
1B,
okay.
1B would be Doctor Doom. For those that
would have been like, I would have liked to have seen that.
For those that are eager to have Robert Downey Jr. back, it's cool and everything.
Yeah,
but I think he would have been an excellent choice for Doctor Doom.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. That's my questions, man. Popcorn, man. What you got on the popcorn?
Yeah, I really like this movie, and this conversation actually helped me to double down on it. I'm going with 4 boxes, man. I'm going 4.
4 boxes. Yeah, it was a good movie, and this conversation helped me. It's pushed me up to 3.5. I'm probably like closer to 4 after this conversation, but definitely 3.5. I enjoyed watching it. Like, it's definitely a rewatchable.
Yep.
Because you got to try to go back and figure out, can you figure the telltale signs on it? We'll see how it does in the box office. But actually, when I went to see it in the theater was packed.
I went actually right after work, so like early afternoon, and it was a modest turnout. So I would say like I expect the numbers to be pretty well on this one.
Yeah, I think people are gonna check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
If you haven't, it's definitely worth checking out. It was a good film. Let's get into our hot takes, man. Hot takes. I'm gonna go first.
Yeah,
mine.
Please do.
So here's my hot take. This movie doesn't actually need the espionage or the Severus part. It would be a great film about relationships and people just navigating what does trust look like in a relationship. I think the scenes that I loved the most were the dialogue between 2 people when they were just talking about what they thought about things, or like the relationships they had with someone else. Sometimes like the Severus part added stakes, but that really wasn't my favorite part of the film. I would have loved this film as just 5 people in a bag trying to figure out relationships.
Okay, I can see that. I'm a little bit more pessimistic. This movie, I try to like suspend. No, but in this case, this movie had me really on some like misanthrope. Like, I'm really not feeling people. That people are a virus, a scourge that needs to be stopped.
You sound like Agent Smith right now, man. You're your Agent Smith joint, right?
Man, first of all, let me put it, I don't care, man or woman, whatever have you. How could you be in a relationship with somebody and knowingly, willingly, purposely, intentfully go and sleep with somebody else, someone that you work with? So that's going to be messy at work. 2, someone that is of an upper, like, supervisor level individual that like everyone's going to have access to. At the same time, how could you be intimate with someone who's younger than you, who could be your child, or someone that
she wasn't that much younger than him, man.
She was in her if he was 40, if he was 40, she was like mid-20s.
She was that much younger.
There was an age discrepancy. Remember, she was an
analyst. She was younger. She was younger than
this dude. Had a wife and kids. That's what they said.
Yeah, but you find love on the second time.
She said she liked older men. She said she liked older men.
So do most women.
And he said he liked younger women.
So do most men.
All I'm saying to you is those were the things that led me to believe that she was significantly younger than him.
Okay.
At the same time, he's bouncing these 2 women, and then come to find out that all of them at one point or another had interactions with each other, and it's just like,
it sounds like a great it's like a great like drama about relationships. They didn't need the gunplay such as it was.
It just sounds like, why are you even doing this? And you're the ones who are supposed to be of integrity and responsible for the safety and security of an entire country. You can't even keep it in your pants. You can't even be honest with each other. The people that were the most honest were actually the ones who were being called out for being traitors. What are they being like?
I'm sure nothing like that. I'm sure nothing like that has happened.
Oh no, never. Not on this planet.
All right, man. All right, so that's that. That completes our breakdown of Black Bag. We gave it 4 and 3.5 boxes of popcorn, respectively. So it's definitely a worth watch. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. It's in movie theaters right now, even as we speak. Next week, we're actually gonna come back with another movie that's right in theaters. So we're gonna be doing magazine Dreams.
Yes, sir.
I think this might be the first time that we did 2 movies back to back that are in theaters, man.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
This is becoming a costly endeavor, man.
Oh, no doubt.
to do this show, man. If you appreciate how we're spending money to go see these movies to break them down, please hit that subscribe button.
It's free. It's free for you.
Free, right. It's free for you, but it costs us money, right? And the Sticky Floors podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts.